Hello, my incisive friends, and welcome back to Alien Protocols. This is an exploration of the zookeeper's model. And I thought it might be an interesting thought experiment to kind of switch our positions with different conditions and see how it kind of works. And in this one, we're switching our perspective with that of a zoo animal. So humans are the zoo animal and the others are the zookeepers. But I also do this with a uncontacted group of tribal native humans from an island called Sentinel Island. And they're the only uncontacted group, I think, left, except for maybe one or two in New Guinea. But it's really interesting when you take the perspective of the animals in the zoo and think of the UFO phenomena. If we were zoo animals, what would we see? Well, zoo animals see these strange flashes of light. Of course, those are cameras and things reflecting off of modern technology, and we do that with the UFO phenomena. There would be barriers for us, and we do have barriers. In cageless zoos, you don't see the cage, but there are other types of barriers that prevent us from doing certain things. Barriers in size, barriers in distance, and barriers in technology. Now, zoo animals would hear disembodied voices. You hear about this a lot in phenomena. These disembodied voices sometimes heard, especially in phenomena locations. Another interesting thing is zoo animals, oftentimes zookeepers and veterinarians disguise themselves as the animal in order to help or interact with the animal. And so we could expect seeing other species disguised as us. Interesting little thing. If you were a zoo animal, you would see a lot of tourists. And perhaps there are zookeepers in our human world, but also tourists. What things do zoo animals notice? This is very interesting. The first one's kind of funny. That the others don't feed us. You see in zoos, do not feed the animals signs. Maybe in UFOs, there are signs, do not feed the humans. Zoo animals notice disappearing and appearing objects, not only in their world, but in the areas outside of their world. I didn't put something here, but it makes me think of it right here. Zoo animals can see things that are outside of their ability to get there, outside the cage. And we can too. We can see a lot of things outside of our planet, our cage, I guess. Zoo animals notice that there's a lot of things beyond our level of understanding. This is true with phenomena and UFO propulsion and anti-gravity, etc. Those zoo animals know that something is foreign. They get a sense of something foreign. And that others seem unearthly. There is that sense of it not being of Earth. That's why we say alien, or you think they're from other galaxies. That might be a mistaken presumption of ours. This is interesting. Zoo animals, when they fight and have combat for dominance, the zookeepers are very interested in that. They're very interested in combat and relations. And they don't want lions to kill each other. And that might be true with the others. Zoo animals might think that humans have an angel-like presence, almost a, godlike differential. It might be more dangerous for the zoo animals whenever they get close to a human. And that's true with humans and UFOs. Getting close to the craft apparently can be dangerous. Zoo animals are aware that these zookeepers can outthink them. The zookeepers, I'm sure, and the zoo animals wonder, how do these zookeepers seem to know what I'm going to do? And we also see precognition in both phenomena and UFOs. There's a global presence. Zoo animals see other beings behind their world and in front of their world. There's a non-interaction policy with zoo animals, right? If you drop trash into a animal pen at a zoo, they don't go and recover it. They wait till later, and the zookeepers come in and secretly remove it. Here's another interesting one. To an animal in a zoo, the zookeepers change form. And that's true of UFOs. This is true also. Different zookeepers appear different to different viewers, I bet. If you were a zoo animal, you would notice that the others have an interest in biology. Zookeepers will go into a pen and study different things, take samples, let's say DNA samples, blood samples, but also the environment that the zoo animal is in. Very interesting. This is true also. UFOs knock people out. They go unconscious. That's the same with zoo animals and humans who contact or have been abducted, apparently. Zoo animals are taken to sterile medical rooms. If an animal is sick or needs some sort of maintenance, they're hit with a tranquilizer dart and taken to the medical room. And I bet those animals have a sense of missing time, just like some humans do. I thought that was kind of interesting. Of course, zoo animals notice that there's a futuristic technology around them, and that humans, compared to the zoo animals, have this futuristic technology. Humans are interested, or interesting, either way, in energetic displays. That works both as the zoo animal and as humans. Very interesting. Another interesting about if you're in the zoo, if you're the zoo animal, you are being relieved of burdens. The burdens of hunting, as a lion doesn't have to hunt as much. The lion's probably happier. The lion's probably has less violence than it would in the wild. So zookeepers relieve the animals of some of these more difficult or draining evolutionary needs. But another interesting thing is zoos are a place to prevent animals from extinction. There are breeding programs with other zoos across the planet. I thought that is interesting as well, too. Now, if you're a zoo animal, you will see that the zookeepers defy the world rules, rules of physics, everything. This is very interesting, too. In zoos, they oftentimes will give animals a present. If it's like their, 50th birthday for a gorilla, they'll bring out a box with, wrapped in wrapping paper with fruit inside or something. And the animal would see this unnatural material and get it as a present. And the interesting thing is, it's not just a present, but the zookeepers watch the 50-year-old gorilla play with the materials, the advanced materials, and see what they do with it. And that might be true with the UFO craft. They might be given to us as presents to watch what we do with the materials, but maybe ultimately take them away if they become dangerous. Right? Maybe? Very interesting there. Let's go to the perspective of the Sentinel Islanders. So these Sentinel Islanders have no connection to modern civilization, and they have a very aggressive policy towards invaders. If you don't know about the Sentinel Islanders, you check out a quick video. You'll be really surprised and see the parallels. So the Sentinel Islanders attack invaders as humans attack invaders, the UFOs. Sentinel Islanders see amazing materials of the others, the futuristic materials. The Sentinel Islanders notice the others can fly in unknown ways, like we notice UFOs fly in unknown ways. Sentinel Islanders will find trash and things that float up on their island, and they utilize these discovered materials. I don't have to explain that one further. This is interesting. Sentinel Islanders will sometimes try to go to another island to seek the others. And I think humans are trying to do the same now. Sentinel Islanders see others that are biologically similar to them, but very different still. You know, white people are very different than the Sentinel Islanders. Different clothing, different technology. Sentinel Islanders defend their territory like humans do. There is a non-interference policy about interacting with the Sentinel Islanders. And that might be the same with humans and UFOs. This one is very interesting. If you live on Sentinel Island and you're a Sentinel Islander, you don't know that there are so many more others just beyond your sight. You don't know that there's another massive world beyond your conception. You don't know that you're being secretly studied by the others from a distance even. But here's something very interesting. When you think about the Sentinel Islanders, modern humans really respect them as precious and rare, and that they need to be protected. And I hope that is true with the others and the intelligences behind UFOs. Just a couple more. The Sentinel Islanders have no idea that they're vastly, vastly outnumbered nearby, and that there's a much, much larger unseen world, and the universe is not like they think. So in many ways, gang, I think we are like these Sentinel Islanders, and we are like the zoo animals. I discovered a few really interesting things exploring this. What do you guys think?